It's fine to think that Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro started life as an incredibly mean-spirited webcomic about a sadistic, abusive girl who was out to ruin her senpai's life, only for the series to be brought back as a sweet, if not over-the-top romantic comedy manga about a girl who, well, does almost entirely the same thing, but is now well-meaning while she crushes on and playfully bullies her senpai. The story for the show is mostly episodic slice-of-life segments, following Nagatoro and senpai hanging out, while they get into wacky, often slapsticky, teasing-filled, and sometimes lewd misadventures as they live their daily lives as students. Lots of the show revolves around senpai's art and his overactive imagination running wild, along with Nagatoro bullying him in her own sweet ways, while her friends tag along as much as they can to give the pair a tough time. But that's not to forget the budding relationship between the pair of contrasting lovers, which is really sweet and well done. My favorite moments, outside the genuinely touching and heartfelt scenes of romance, had to be where senpai and Nagatoro play video games or talked about manga with each other, but the best moment absolutely had to be the fact that half an entire episode was a spoof of fantasy video games and anime involving senpai, Nagatoro, and her friends as fantasy characters on an epic quest. Which I have to say, them expanding the short RPG chapter from the manga to a huge chunk of an episode was honestly a great move all around. That, and including Nagatoro's friends in on the adventure. Not to say that the normal episodes aren't great, as they are all a lot of fun, naturally. It's just that gamey, silly stuff is usually my favorite parts of slice of life shows. In terms of the characters and how they are, Nagatoro and senpai play off each other fantastically. Both are so much fun, with senpai being an introverted, art-loving dork of a likable MC, and Nagatoro being the bratty, overly protective of her senpai love interest who is full of so much darn personality as well. The best thing about Nagatoro is that she really does care about senpai, and realizes when she's pushed her teasing too far. The pair of awkward sweethearts are really fun to see, and their character progression is really enjoyable to watch, with senpai coming out of his shell thanks to Nagatoro, who helps him find a group of friends, and Nagatoro slowly softening her more intense personality. The rest of the cast is filled with Nagatoro's equally troublesome but still sweet friends, the sadistic and aggressive Gamo-chan, the parodying and obnoxious Yoshi, and the mysterious Sakura. Each are incredibly enjoyable with how devious but still friendly they are to senpai, and how much they like to tease and agitate Nagatoro. Near the end of the season, there's also the cold-tempered, big-chested president of the art club, who mostly comes in to create a false sense of conflict for the big season finale. I'm not really the biggest fan of the press, as she's just kind of boring to me, but at least she has a few decent moments, like her telling senpai to go after Nagatoro, or standing up for artistic freedom.
あの部長を相手に勝つ。
Actually, you know what? Perhaps I judged her too harshly. Animation-wise, I really like how the anime looks. It's colorful, the animation is a lot of fun, filled with over-the-top reactions and gags, and all the character designs are really great. Nagatoro and her friends' sinister faces are definitely a highlight, and the entire show has a really comfy atmosphere with how it shows off the small Japanese town that the story takes place in. I really love the fact that every commercial break frame was different for each episode, and told their own mini-story related to the episode's plot. The fantasy segments are really funny, oftentimes changing genre and the styles, or going full cartoon logic, without losing the show's signature style. Granted, the art isn't as detailed or as expressive as the manga, but it definitely does it justice well enough. I just like the manga a bit more visually. I will say I'm really happy they animated was probably my favorite back of the manga gag, even if they did change the context a little bit. We still get this hilarious Nagatoro face that I absolutely love. When it comes to the audio, there's literally nothing bad I can say. The Japanese voice actors for the sub do an amazing job, with every character having a distinct, memorable, and very fun and fitting voice. The soundtrack, from opening and closing songs to all the music throughout, was fantastic, especially the more intense track when Nagatoro went full bully. And with all that said, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro is a really fun time. You're in for a rambunctious, zany comedy of polar opposites becoming more than just friends, and finding true romance through plenty of teasing, playful punching, and lots of name-calling. It may not be for everyone, but I personally love the heck out of the series, and I definitely recommend it. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing with your friends and subscribing to the channel to see more. I want to give a huge thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also Orion Knight for doing up the art and rig of Punish Neat, Alexander for doing the show's intro theme, and my friend Alex for making the thumbnail design. Their social media and my Patreon will be linked in the description down below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!